Well, I've been here for 5 years, 6 years, and it's been quite a journey. After so much, I suppose, a lot of political rows in the UK over a lot of the basically different associations with pool, that I just got so fed up with how they treated their stars of their game over in the UK. So I suppose that's when I decided that's it. I'm going to come to America and play, because there was a tour and it was professional, and at least he had a tour and at least they recognised that we were stars. And during this I've gone through a weight struggle. When back in the UK, I suppose that the life of being in England, and I was actually working at the time for the prison service, I wasn't really taking care of myself that well. I think when I went back to the UK after I was in Canada for maybe a year and trying to qualify on tour, and it was bad, because I was getting beat left, right, and centre, and I was overweight and I wasn't taking care of myself. It was just a bad situation. I mean, I couldn't win to save my life, and here I have come from the UK where I've near enough been one of the most dominating players, and then all of a sudden I'm in this unhealthy state of mind, physically and mentally, and I just can't win. So I left and went home, and that's when I really looked in the mirror and I looked at myself and I was, wow, I didn't even look like the person that, I knew that I could be, and it was just awful. I looked at myself and all the cellulite, and I was wondering why I was getting, my shins were hurting when I was running. And I think I'd gone up to, what was it, 215 pounds or something, but I've always been pretty thin. Around 8.5 to 9 stone, that's probably 125 or something like that. And it was just awful. I'll never forget it. I can see it right now. And I said, this is no good. This is not good for me. I didn't realise how important image and, unfortunately, your looks, and how you may be the best player in the world, but if you don't look good and you don't present yourself well, then it's really off-putting for sponsorship and endorsements. In a year, I think I dropped 50 pounds in that year. And then I came back on tour to try again. And in that year, I'd really started to practice a lot. And I was actually travelling over 100 miles a day to go and practice 5 days a week. So I was practicing a lot. I was putting in 5-6 hours a day. I was eating healthy. I felt like my balance was back on track, whereas before I was very top heavy, and I was suffering as a player. You could tell. And then gradually over time, my diet and my lifestyle has completely changed. When I go back to England, it's strange to see where I've come from and how I've changed physically and mentally. And one day I just said to myself, you know what, I like this. I like to feel, great. I like to look good. And then I think to myself, deep down, I suppose I said to myself, God, I would love to do a photo shoot. Just for me, not for anybody else, just for me. I just want to see if I can do it. So I suppose over the last 2 years, I've lost around 90 to 95 pounds. But I've put weight on, good weight, muscle. And, just recently, I really thought, I really wanted to push myself to the limit and to see if I could look like some of these girls and be confident about showing off my body. So, I've worked with a personal trainer, and, I work out, my workout regime for pool and my approach to pool has changed so much. So I really thought to myself, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I need to get fit, and it's all about the image. It's look at yourself as an athlete, and that's what I did. I looked at myself as an athlete, and when I lost my weight, I thought, I think I want to run a half marathon to fulfill my dream. I suppose that I know it might be a silly dream to some people, but I really wanted to see how I would look and to be proud of where I've come from, £215 to £127. In this country, image is so important, for sponsorship and endorsements. If you don't look good, even if you're a number one ranked player in the world, you're going to miss out on a lot of sponsorship. You are, and it's the truth. But if you can pull it off and you're a professional, you look good, and you're a great player too, then you've got a lot of good things going for you. And I didn't realise how important the image was until I came to America. Our audience is pretty much male dominant, 80% maybe is male. So you have to keep it professional, but also appeal to that demographic. For me, these few years have been like a cleansing process. The diet and the exercise and the preparation, I would say that 80% of that preparation is physical fitness, mental stamina, and me really being happy. And the 20% is on the table. Because if you're not happy and you're not in the right frame of mind, it's no good even going onto that table.